The Class A 300-meter intermediate hurdles. Ken DeMars of Wansik is in lane 1. Preston of Fishers in 2. Hall of Trenton Wesclin's in 3. Ramey of Mount Carroll in 4. Trevor Weaver of Carmi in 5. Chauncy Williams of St. Anne in 6. Steve Stam of Kankakee McNamara in 7. Jason Devino of Whitehall North Greene in 8. And Pete Hilst of Manito Forman is in 9. This is the first year they have run intermediate hurdles. Up until last year, they ran the lows.
Set.
300-meter intermediate hurdles. And yesterday, we noticed that some of the runners are having just a little trouble at the finish, adjusting to the higher hurdles as they really lose their steps and start chopping the last couple of hurdles as fatigue sets in. Looks to be Trevor Weaver of Carmi, Chauncy Williams of St. Anne. That's Steve Stam of Kankakee McNamara in the yellow. Steve Stam pulling away from the pack. Let's see how strongly he finishes the 2 hurdles. Took that one strong. Here comes Chauncy Williams. Chauncy Williams blows by to take it. Stam second. And Mike Hall of Trenton is 3rd. No problems there, Gary, with the higher hurdles.
Oh, I think with the wind to their back here, it's a relief after getting to there. However, that can also give you a problem with your steps.
Williams came into the event with the state's fastest time in Class A at 39.1, and he might be a little bit fresher because he did not get past the first round in the highs in qualifying yesterday because he stumbled on a hurdle. He really finished strong. It looked at this point like Stam of Kankakee McNamara was going to absolutely win it going away. But he stumbled a little bit in between hurdles. And Williams took advantage. And also Stam hit the last hurdle to slow him up just a little bit more is Chauncy Williams, Stam, and it was close for 3rd between Mike Hall and Jason Devino. Watch Stam in the yellow as he hits the hurdle, and that eliminated his chances of catching Chauncy Williams of St. Anne, who picks up 10 big points for St. Anne in the team battle on the Class A level. And that also makes up for not qualifying for the finals in the high hurdles, in which he also had the state's fastest time in Class A.
In 4th place, East St. Louis Senior.
Nice picture there, Stam and Williams after the battle.
In 3rd place, Evanston Penn.
Now the AA 300-meter intermediates. Running in lane 1, Antonio Henderson of East St. Louis Senior. In 2, Jamie Martin of Hoffman Estates Conant. In 3, Cordell Drake of Chicago Heights Bloom Trail. In 4, Tyran Cox-Bey of Country Club Hills Hillcrest. In 5, Maurice Mitchell of Marist of Chicago. In 6, Vernon Powell of East St. Louis Senior. In 7, John Strickland of Glenview, Glenbrook South. In 8, Dave Spencer of Roselle Lake Park. And in 9, Carl Long of Danville. The best time in the state owned by Maurice Mitchell of Marist, 37.5. He was second in the lows last year. Vernon Powell next to him in 6 has the state's 4th fastest time. In the sectionals, he ran 38.6. He was 3rd in the lows last year.
Runners, to your mark.
Hardback will probably be up in there somewhere. Those are all my cards.
Up, gentlemen, up.
A pole vaulter who was going for a new height, failed at his last miss, and the crowd across the way and on the near side applauding, and the starter has called the runners out of the blocks. And that is one of Carroll's pole vaulters. As it looks like he'll pick up the victory, we'll go ahead and identify him as quickly as we can.
Runners. Runners, to your mark.
As we'll get back now to the AA 300-meter intermediate hurdles.
You want this one? I don't have anybody in.
Set.
The AA intermediates. Maurice Mitchell of Marist with the early lead in the yellow over red. Look at him make up that stagger already in between hurdles. This race is being won, Gary, in the sprint between the hurdles. Maurice Mitchell away from the pack. The battle now for second. He chopped his steps and stepped through that hurdle. He's got one left. Coming up strong, Vernon Powell. But it is Mitchell, Powell, and then a battle for third between Jamie Martin and Tyran Cox-Bey. Wow, with a strong start. Mitchell chopped a little bit at the end. Again, the timing on the steps. The higher hurdles, it's taken an adjustment. This is the first year for the higher hurdles.
It's a technique and a skill event, and it just takes time to master that.
Is the best thing to work out to have a certain number of steps in between every hurdle?
Oh, definitely. You either have your step pattern is preset before the race.
But fatigue can also
alter that very quickly.
Maurice Mitchell, who was second in the lows last year, wins the inaugural running here in the state finals of the 300-meter intermediate hurdles. You see him chop his steps a little bit there. And Vernon Powell got a little quick bit of final hope there. But the final sprint won by Mitchell as there's the champion of the AA. By the way, Jamie Merrick of Clifton Central was that pole vaulter who was attempting a new winning height when the runners were called up. We're at the state boys track finals at Charleston, Illinois, O'Brien Stadium.